Greetings, everyone. You're listening to the Western Yoga Podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Sartain. It's a rainy day here in southern Chile at our small ashram where we live. And I'm sitting by a nice warm fire, curled up with my dog, Inti. I haven't made any new podcast episodes in quite some time. I've been focused on many other things, writing books and doing yoga teacher trainings and meditation retreats here, and traveling. I recently went back to the United States for about a month and had the chance to visit the ashram of my guru, Roy Eugene Davis, in the North Georgia Mountains Center for Spiritual Awareness, and had a lovely retreat there. Spent about a week. My wife and I went together and had an opportunity to spend time with the new senior minister there, Ryan Strong, as well as Ryan Kurzak, a dear friend of ours and a very advanced disciple of Mr. Davis. And it was really a wonderful experience. Mr. Davis's Shaktipat, enlightened energy is still very much alive at the ashram. Even though Mr. Davis passed about 2.5 years ago, his energy is still very much present in every molecule, every atom of that place. And still has that same enlivening, transformative, elevating presence that it has always had. And so that was interesting to experience. The fact that that energy is still there, even though Mr. Davis's physical body is no longer there. His enlightened consciousness still permeates every fiber of that place. And that was very reassuring to experience that, to know that Guruji is still very much present, even though I still tend to feel his presence daily. It was even more palpable, shall we say, at the ashram. And we had a very beautiful experience meditating there that week. Also had a chance to visit friends and family in South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, where all my friends and family live. So that was really wonderful. I want to talk a little bit about the differences between spiritual teachers and gurus. This is not something that is discussed often. It's poorly understood. And there's a lot of confusion around this subject or theme. People seldom contemplate it or consider it or think about it deeply. And so I thought it would be a good theme for us to discuss in this episode. A guru is a spiritual teacher in the yoga tradition of India. This is important to understand. Not all spiritual teachers are gurus. Okay? A guru is a spiritual teacher within the yoga tradition of India, from that cultural context and religious context. A guru is not necessarily a fully enlightened being either. They're not synonyms, enlightened master and guru. do not mean the same thing. Ideally, a guru should be enlightened, or at least experiencing some degree of enlightenment, a certain stage of enlightened consciousness, to be an effective guru, obviously. But it's not necessarily so. A spiritual teacher can be from any country, any cultural context, any religious tradition, spiritual tradition. And therefore, not all spiritual teachers are gurus, you see. A guru is someone within the yoga tradition, a yoga lineage of gurus, of masters. Okay? In India, as part of this cultural, spiritual tradition and context, there are certain expectations that a guru will have for his or her disciples. For example, devotion. A guru expects their students or disciples to be devoted to them. A guru also expects loyalty from their disciples. In other words, if you are a disciple of a guru, that means you have one guru. You have a guru. You wouldn't have 3 or 4 or 5 gurus. So you're expected to be loyal to your guru if you have a guru. Okay, another expectation is selfless service. Most gurus, especially if they have an ashram, expect seva, which is selfless service, from their students and disciples. It's part of the cultural context. It's part of the tradition. Also, typically, a guru would expect their disciples to sort of submit to their spiritual authority, which sounds strange or odd here in the West, because in the West we value independence far more than they do in the East. So the idea of submitting to the authority of someone else seems foreign, exotic, strange, odd, bizarre even. But that is a part of the yoga tradition and the tradition of the guru. You are to submit to their authority, you see. Now, spiritual teachers from other traditions might not have that expectation of their students. So they might not, in other words, they may have no interest in your devotion, your loyalty, your selfless service, your submission. For example, I consider myself a spiritual teacher. I have no interest in being a guru because I have no interest in my students' devotion, loyalty, service, or submission. None whatsoever. It's just completely outside my personality. It just wouldn't work. For me, in my case. However, I needed that as a disciple. As a student, I needed to have a guru. I needed to submit to the authority of someone because I have a very rebellious, willful personality. So I needed that in my life as a disciple, as a learner. I enjoyed being devoted. I enjoyed being loyal. I enjoyed performing selfless service. I enjoyed submitting my ego to an authority figure. I needed that as part of my path. For me, it was wonderful and completely transformed my life and my consciousness. But it's not necessary for everyone. It depends on your karma, depends on your personality type, and all of that. So for those who are interested in having a spiritual teacher, but don't necessarily want to be devoted, loyal, to submit to the authority of someone else, to render selfless service if necessary. That type of seeker would be better served by a spiritual teacher and not a guru from the traditional yoga Indian lineage or tradition. And I'm not saying one is better than the other, by the way. It depends on the person. It depends on your karma, your personality type, your spiritual needs, and all of that. You may be better served by just having a spiritual teacher. In my case, personally, I was better served by having a guru. But there's no one size fits all spirituality. There's no one size fits all path. Each person is different. Now, I receive a lot of emails from people asking me how to find a guru, especially because I'm here in Latin America. Many people from Bolivia or Peru or Chile, where I live, or Mexico even, Costa Rica, Ecuador. I get emails from people all over Latin America saying, oh, well, there are no gurus where I live. I want to have a guru, but there are no gurus where I live. What should I do? Do I need to travel to India to search for a guru? I don't recommend going guru shopping. There's a universal law of cause and effect as it concerns the guru, or spiritual teacher for that matter. When the disciple is ready, the guru appears. This is a universal law of cause and effect. So there's no need to go guru shopping. When you are ready spiritually, a guru or spiritual teacher will appear in your life. This is how it works. This is how it happens. For example, I never wanted to have a guru. That was not within the realm of possibility for me until I was 27 and I read Autobiography of a Yogi. I've told this story in previous podcast episodes. And read the book in a few days. I knew immediately that it was my path. I resonated completely with the lineage and the teachings and all of that, Yogananda. And I prayed earnestly to God to bring me a guru like Yogananda that could teach me meditation and the spiritual path. A week later, I was waiting for a massage at my friend's massage studio in Dahlonega, Georgia, where I used to live. And I opened up a magazine to a page with an advertisement for a meditation retreat in the North Georgia mountains with a direct disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda. This was 45 minutes away from where I was living at the time, more or less. I had no idea the center was even there. And obviously my prayers had been answered. And I went to the retreat, and as soon as Mr. Davis entered the meditation hall, the first morning of the first meditation, I knew immediately he was my guru. There was no doubt, none. I remembered him. I recognized him. His energy, his presence. I recognized the place as well. Everything about it. It's a mystical experience that's very hard to describe. But I knew immediately that he was my guru. There was no doubt. And then, I don't know, a month later or something like that, I went there again and I asked him to be my guru formally, and he formally accepted me as his disciple. And the rest is history. So that's how the universe works. It's the universe operates on laws of cause and effect. So when you are ready, your guru or spiritual teacher will appear in your life. This is how it works. So there's no need to go guru shopping in India or anywhere else for that matter. When you're ready, your guru will be there. It's just a law of attraction, a law of cause and effect, a universal law, a spiritual law. This is how it works. Now, the relationship with a guru can be quite intense. So many people say, "Oh yes, I'd like to have a guru. I really want to have a guru." Are you sure about that? Are you really ready to be devoted and loyal, to render selfless service, to submit, and all of that? It can be intense, especially if your guru, like Mr. Davis, has a lot of transformative Shaktipat energy. To be in his presence was transformative. And these transformations that we undergo aren't always so pleasant and agreeable. They can be quite uncomfortable, especially when you're evolving rapidly. So when you spend a lot of time in the presence of someone whose Shakti pod is fully awakened, your transformation and evolution occurs quite rapidly. And the changes that occur in your body, your nervous system, your brain, your astral body, your nadis, your chakras, your mind, and all of that can be these changes can be quite jarring if you're not prepared. So, are you really ready to have that kind of relationship with an enlightened being? Be honest with yourself. To be honest, was just barely ready. Thinking back, maybe not even as ready as I should have been. I didn't know. I didn't know about Shaktipat. I didn't know about this enlivening, awakening, transformative, evolutionary energy that these enlightened beings have when I first met my guru. And it took me a while to adapt to this transformative energy, into the transformations and changes themselves. I'm still undergoing this process, you know, even though Guruji is no longer with us in his physical form. I still feel his Shaktipat every time I watch one of his videos or listen to one of his talks or read his books, as I do often, almost daily. And so I'm still receiving this transmission of Shaktipat energy from him that he received from Yogananda, that Yogananda received from Sri Yukteswar, that Sri Yukteswar received from Lahiri Mahashaya, that Lahiri Mahashaya received from Mahabhadar Babaji. It's a chain of Shaktipat, a chain of illuminated consciousness, an unbroken chain. So ask yourself, are you really ready to receive all that? It's intense. But at the very least, I do recommend to find a spiritual teacher that can teach you how to meditate proficiently. I saw some video the other day of a famous guru from India. And she was talking about meditation. She said, there's no right way or wrong way to practice meditation. As long as you're sitting there each day, you're doing it right. This is a shame that anyone, on the spiritual path had to hear that. It's too bad, especially if people uh, respect this woman, this guru. It's too bad. It was a silly thing to say. Of course, you can learn how to meditate proficiently. You can learn how to meditate well. Just sitting there without any techniques or guidance or knowledge about how to meditate will not be beneficial. So find someone that knows how to meditate well, that's been doing it for years or decades, that has experienced the various levels of superconsciousness and samadhi and all the refined states of superconsciousness and samadhi multiple times, ideally. Find someone like that can teach you how to meditate well and proficiently to a stage of superconsciousness on a daily basis. This will be highly beneficial for you. So if you can't find a guru, or you don't have a guru, or there's no gurus where you live, etc., at the very least, seek out a good, solid, mature meditation teacher that can teach you how to meditate well. This is key. This is essential on your path. So it's not necessary to have a guru, to have an enlightened guru on your spiritual path. It's wonderful if that happens, if it comes along. But if not, it's not 100% necessary. You can wake up without being in a relationship with an enlightened guru. It is possible. It might take longer, but it is possible. And many people ask, well, is it necessary to have a guru, or even to have a spiritual teacher at all? Can't I just watch videos or read a book or something? Well, you can travel without a map or a tour guide, can't you? But you're very likely to get lost along the way. If you have a map available to you, it's just common sense that you would use the map or GPS or tour guide to help you as you travel. It's just common sense. And so it's good to have someone that you can ask questions of. You can be in some type of correspondence with them via email or phone conversations or whatever it is. Text messages, however you communicate with your spiritual teacher. This is highly beneficial to be able to ask questions and have your questions answered in a meaningful way. So it's very, very helpful to have a guide or a map on your spiritual path. It's just common sense. Of course, you can learn things on your own, but why do universities exist, for example? Why are there college professors at universities that you take classes with? Why do you attend a university and take classes with qualified PhD level college professors? Because you wish to learn from the best, don't you? You want to learn from experts. In every other avenue of life, we seek out experts for their advice and opinions. But when it comes to spirituality, for some reason, especially in the West, many seekers believe that they can just do it on their own. They don't need expert advice. They don't need to learn from anyone. They can just simply listen to their intuition and the so-called inner guru, and they'll be fine. Well, ultimately that's true. Ultimately, the true guru is the inner guru. That is true, ultimately. But in a practical sense, it's helpful to have an outer external guru that can lead you to the inner guru. Many people that say, oh yeah, I'll just listen to my inner guru, aren't really ready to do that because they haven't done the preliminary work first with an external guru that can help them learn how to listen to that inner guru, how to find the inner guru. Thank you so much for listening. And please subscribe to the podcast and share it with others who are like-minded. Many blessings. Namaste.